what is it like to be a Fosse woman? Is it all of you? Is it
Well,
something
you're extremely proud to be a Fosse dancer, whether you're a male or a female.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, but he just glorified the woman so much, and not that there weren't women stars before Gwen, but he certainly, elevated women to a big deal.
One of the things he did was bring out the sexuality a lot.
Right.
Oh,
Women.
how can you say that?
Just a
Well, I
little.
think the original fan dance. Oh, by the way, he was influenced not by Sally Rand, but another fan dancer from burlesque. And if you go back to an Ed Sullivan show or the Tonys or something and watch that introduction to Jerry Orbach of
The fan number.
the fan number, it is the
All I need is
sexiest,
love.
the sexiest. The
Oh,
crotches
yeah. Oh,
go
they're
up, and
gorgeous,
it
yeah.
is just almost dirty.
Yeah.
It's just, and the costumes, it's one of the sexiest.
But his most important thing about the sensuality, I prefer as opposed to sexuality,
Right, it's more sensual.
was that it was something that you felt inside about yourself,
Well,
and that brings people to you. You don't have to go, you know. It's
He was
like,
very subtle. Everything was really tiny.
Yeah.
And people make a mistake of doing it too big. And
Yeah.
it's really tiny. But
And-
if you have a thought, he said, if a dancer isn't a good actor, it's all just so much animated wallpaper. And so he always gave you something to think about with every step. So.
In answer to the first thing that came to my mind, actually, about what does it feel like to be a Fosse woman, it was that he valued us as dancers. He valued that we were actors, and he believed and expected us to act through all of the stuff, or it wasn't worth it. And I think for men and women, but certainly for women, that it wasn't, yes, there was all of that kind of sexual energy that was going on, and because he adored women, of course, but it was also this kind of belief in you, more than you even believed, that you could.
That was it. He knew, or he believed that you could do whatever he wanted you to do.
And you could be whoever you needed to be in these stories that were.
You could find somewhere to be better than you ever thought you could. Yeah.
That's what everybody said. I interviewed like 27 people for this book, and every single one said, he made me dance better than I ever thought I could dance.
And I feel like I learned something that I think maybe instinctively I had sporadically before I worked with Mr. Fosse, but I feel like I really learned how to act my dancing. You know, I mean, there were times I remember in rehearsals with the Rich Man's Frug, and he would just follow me around. It was with the ponytail girl, and he would just kind of like follow me around as I'm going around doing the number. And just every once in a while, I'm doing something, and he would say something provocative in my ear, and I would just be like, just because what he was doing was you have to be thinking the whole time. You have to be living this and thinking this. And
he did that with the Roxy monologue. He'd get me up on stage, and he'd talk through the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing, bringing things out. And I also think he was so good about collaborating. Like when the last week, the Lund, we just had 3 weeks to put it all together. And he asked Carolyn and I if we'd work until midnight. It was against the rules, so we could get this show on, you know. And so we did. And also, when the kids were on the stage, he'd take us and do scenes up in the balcony. And he and Jerry and I got up there to do all these scenes from Chicago, and we could say, you know, Jerry had done the show, but he was glad that Bob was redirecting it. And I could say, oh, and can I do this? And he'd say, oh yeah, do that. He wanted the best from everybody.
That's right.
And if you were a little kid or a seasoned performer, he wanted to hear it. And that's
He
what
loved
I
it. He
Jerry
loved it. You
Orbach,
came-
I'm sorry. By the way, Jerry Orbach was one of the most giving actors in the world.
Wonderful.
two young women coming into these roles that he had played with Gwen and Cheetah, legends, icons in our field, and he was so kind to us and so giving on stage. So whatever you ever hear about Jerry Orbach, I want that to go on record.
Also,
Beautiful
he
man.
had, Jerry, this is about Jerry. This is a very busy show. You have to see a Fosse thing 2 or 3 times before you get it all, right? And Jerry realized that, and to get focus on stage, he told me what he used to do was right before he was supposed to do something, he would go, say his line. Because it was so hard with these dancers doing this and that, doing so he'd do this whole big thing and then come out with it. And I thought, oh, isn't this smart?
He was so nice. He was so